How's it going, guys? Welcome to my channel. I have a super fun share for today. This is my Happynichi, and I'm going to show you how I set it up and by doing a flip through. So, let me preface this by saying I do use a Hobonichi Weeks, and I do use a bullet journal. So this is my current bullet journal. This is last year's bullet journal. And this is my, like I said, Hobonichi Weeks, and I am currently in it. So I set it up a cross between the two, a cross between a Hobonichi Weeks and a bullet journal. So let's get started. Let's open her up. So this is the Happy Notes made by the Happy Planner, and I did go ahead and put classic rose gold discs. It came with these gray discs, mini size, and I changed them to the metal classic size rings, as you can see, or discs rather. So this is it. Let's get started. Now what I did for each section is I made dividers, and I used clear plastic in order to do so. 0.007 in fact. So it wouldn't be too thick of a divider on purpose, but also have some, heft and be a good quality plastic at the same time. So I like my dividers at the top. So I've made a whole bunch of different sections using the clear plastic. I also have 2 Happy Planner bookmarks in here, and I'll show you that when we get to it. I have hooked on my new Kaweco Sport, just using, for now, a binder clip that I made with the elastic on it. And I do have several of those kind that you can stick to it. I do have those, so I might change that out. It just depends on my mood. So let's get started. So I've made several different dividers, like I said. So the first one is just blank, and that is just to protect this paper. And then I have one all the way in the way back right here, just to protect the end sheet. And I have my pen hooked to that. So within each section, I actually made cover pages just like so you could not see the contents behind it, or the content rather behind it. And I just used some scrapbook paper that I had on hand for that purpose. And I think it's super cute with the bows. So, first things first. Now in my booth, if you guys are, and this idea is from Magical Plans for this Happynichi. So go check out her channel. She's totally awesome. But for the Bujo, I have always done, this is my bullet journal from, 2018? So I've done my key and my color codes in here. And this is my one from 2020, which I haven't highlighted yet. I use mild liners to highlight the different things on here. So I made myself a key and the color codes. And then on here, I've done the same thing, and I just put it on one list, which makes more sense. But this one, the 2018 Bujo, was the first time I did a bullet journal. So, and you can set up your key however you like, using classic Bujo symbols or making up your own. I've used a little bit of both, so that's that little part. And then a bullet journal I use as an index, so a table of contents. It says content and then pages and then topic. And then you list your things are on, like that. So along the same vein, I decided to go ahead and add a table of contents. I'm going to bring it down a little closer so you can see better, to my Happynichi. I have not numbered the pages, and that's the beauty of a bullet journal, is you can number the pages and then thread your information. Let's say you are in randomly the week of July and you want to add something onto that page. You can just add a page in and then put the page number and then write it in as a thread. Or you don't have enough room and you want to jump from July all the way to December. You can just thread it at the bottom or the top of the sheet and then thread it to the next section. And then that's how it works. So I think that's pretty cool. And I love this idea of this Happynichi because you get the best of both worlds. You can take your papers out. So in the Hobonichi weeks, you have a section in the way back for notes. And these pages are actually numbered. So this is my Hobonichi weeks. And those are the numbered pages in the back, which I have not used. So you can do Bujo style as well in this planner. In your Hobonichi weeks too. So that's pretty fun. So I just made a whole bunch of table of contents pages. I don't know how many I'll need. I can remove or add to as I like. And then I left this blank. I'll probably do just some doodles or something on this page, the side of the page later. I might do a video on that. You never know. And then I did my year at a glance. Now this is year 2021, and I'll show you why in a minute. I have a future log here, and this is for 2019, and I decided that I want to start my Happynichi in the month of July. So I have made a future log for 2019 from July through December, okay? And then you can write down whatever things that you have coming up in this section. So that is the purpose of that, so you can see, you know, at a glance, your year, basically. And then in this case, your 6 months. Now, on this side, this is 2019 year at a glance, and this is 2020 year at a glance. And I did that on purpose because once 2019 is over, and as you can see, I have my future log for 2019, July through December here, I can just simply remove that page. And then I have my 2021 and my 2020 together for year at a glance. I decided to do it this way, in a horizontal fashion. You can do it any way you want. The dates will fit in there just fine. You can just do 2 rows going down like that, but I chose to do it like this. And there you have it. That is my year at a glance section. So I think that's super fun. And then on the back, and then, like I said, this is my future log for 2020. So you have January through December on 2 pages. So you can see your whole year at a glance, which I think is great. So you can see everything major that you have going on within that one little section. So I really dig that. I always have in my Bujo since I started doing them. So, next section, or next part, we're actually coming up. On the back of this is blank, and I'll probably just do some doodles on that. Now, this is technically my first section. Like I said, this is just a protective layer as you open up the planner. That's how I like to roll. So this is my agenda section, starting with the monthly, and this is an actual divider that I made. And then another cover page. It says glamorous, very cute. And then I'm just going to do some doodles on this. This is the beginning of my month section, so I'll just do some doodles on that. Might do a video, might not. And then here are my months section. And within this section, I added a Happy Planner actual bookmarker, as you can see. I'll just take it out. So that is the bookmarker I chose. And then I made months. And I used dot grid paper for that. Incidentally, in your bullet journal, if you use a Leuchttrum 1917, they actually have dot grid paper in it. That is the way it comes. Well, that's the way I choose to buy it anyway. So there you have it. That's that. Okay, so that's that in comparison. You can see the dot grid on there. So I chose to use the dot grid here, and all I've done so far was just made some monthly grids. And then over here, I'm just going to put on this little part right here because I wanted to maximize my space on this calendar layout. So I'm just going to put in July here, like J-U-L-Y with sticker letters. So that's how I plan on doing that. But I thought I would go ahead and show you. So I've done 6 months so far. And how it rolls in the Hobonichi weeks is, I will show you one that isn't done. This is March 2020. It goes front to back. So it'll end and then start on the following page. So that is how I'm going to format my Happynichi as well. Excuse me, as well. So that's the idea behind that. And I could change my mind. You just never know. I may not want to do it that way. But you can always add in or take away little extra papers. So I figure why not? I'll just set it up like this and see how I like it for 6 months. So I have July through December here basically, and then I've left that blank in case I want to continue doing it in the same vein moving forward for 2020. So my next section is my weekly section, and all I did was use a label maker that I've had for years. This is it right here. This is the P-Touch Home and Hobby label maker by Brother. So, and I use, I've had the clear tape. You know, if you watch any of my channels, you know I like to have things on hand that I use over and over and over. So I had the clear tape on hand to make labels for other things. So that is how I labeled my, excuse me, dividers. So, and I love these perfume bottles. Really adore that. Sorry about the glare. You can see better. So this is my weekly section, and in my weekly section I've also put a divider made by the Happy Planner with the hearts. It's the black one with the hearts. Let me just put this other one back in my monthly section. I think these are the perfect size, and it's like double or triple thick of the dividers that I made, so you can really differentiate. And I might put a label up there, just never know. So down here I have a charm paperclip from the Planner Society. It's from last year's one. I'm still a current subscriber. I love the Planner Society stuff. Very cute. So, in my weekly section, I also chose to use the dot grid paper. So, I put in a few papers, as you can see, throughout my weekly section. And I also, because you have to draw these out by hand, you know, or use stickers or however you want to roll. That is, in essence, how a bullet journal is. And incidentally, my bullet journal is all set up through July. So I'm styling. But for those weeks that you are just super duper busy, you know, the half sheets, I just love them. Let me tell you, I am having a love affair with those half sheets. They have such a variety. So, I found these, and these are the daily schedule, and it has Monday through Sunday right on here. So all you have to do for those busy weeks, and you can't be bothered making a layout, because you know life gets so busy sometimes. So people and family come first. So you can just add your date to that and then scribble down whatever you need to. So you have a front and a back. Get it done. There's your to-do list. So in a pinch, there it is. And even if you're not in a pinch, if you just don't feel like making a grid, don't. You know, just use one of those sheets. That's how I see it. Okay, so then my next section is log, L-O-G, and that's basically for all my lists. And I just love all this girly paper. I did a haul on this 2 or 3 weeks ago from Hobby Lobby. Okay, and then I put the Happy Notes paper in here. So I'll just put my recurring things of my to-dos on a list, and whatever other lists. I have tons of lists. Trust me when I say that. I have a tip-in list that I bounce and move from week to week. This goes in my Hobonichi weeks. I gessoed it and used watercolor, and I used what else? Pastels, and then I covered it with a glaze medium so it wouldn't stick. So I just go like this and I tip it in. I could tip it in here if I want also. But you know, or I could punch it and put it in here. But you know, there are no discs in the Hobonichi weeks. That's the whole thing. So that's why I have to put washi tape on this in my weeks and then take it out and bump it from week to week as I go along. So I love the idea of being able to have that freedom of taking the papers out. Just saying. Makes me very excited. Okay, and on the back of this paper is graph, and I love it. So my next section is called notation, and basically that's my notes section. I have another tab or divider that I made, just a cover page. I just think it looks cleaner and more streamlined like that, you know? I really like it. And then I have chosen to use this like baby aqua blue notes half sheets. I think these are cute. And then it says notes in cursive on the back. Next section is my brainstorming section. And I used the star paper that came, I think, in this Happy Notes. So I put that there. My next section is business. And I chose this to be my background with the lashes. And I have the Get Focused half sheets. Thought those would be perfect in there. And then I have my social media section here. Divider, cover page. Love all the shoes. And then I have this Today half sheet. I think these half sheets, these are from the Socialite half sheets. So I have today. And then I have a section called household. And this is my cute little cover page. And then I use these today sheets with the 1, 2, 3 and the tomorrow, along with the graph paper on the bottom, and it's dot grid on the back. Love that. And then my next section is menu. I'm just totally digging this vibe. And I use these weekly meal plan half sheets. It has Monday through Sunday already written on there, and then grocery list on the back. My next section is finance. And I have my expense tracker there. Love these half sheets, I'm telling you. I found those. Okay, and this is the bill pay checklist, which is on the flip side. And then we come to my self-care section. Very cute. So I chose this pattern for my cover page. Love it. And this is again from the Socialite pack. And this says, hello, beautiful. Absolutely, positively gorgeous. I love that paper. And it's dot grid on the back. And then my next section basically is my faith section. So I just titled that Theology. And then I have these cute little bows again with the white backdrop. If you remember in the front, it has a mint green backdrop. It's from the same paper pack. Very cute. So I like that they carried that theme throughout. And I put happy notes here. And it has a date. And it's dot grid with the aqua blue. And then graph paper on the back. Love that. And then I gave myself a craft projects section, of course. So I love these pencils. And I thought that was perfect. And this, I used 2 paper pads. One was the LOL paper pad. And the other one was Paris. That girly one, Girl in Paris or something like that. Both from Hobby Lobby. So, and then I chose these half sheets. This paper is everything. So I thought it was more than appropriate for my craft section. And I basically just put in like 6 sheets or 3 sheets for each section. And then I can add to or take away from it as I go along. And then my last section is my odds and ends section. Because we all know we need something like that or miscellaneous, however you like to roll. And I love that cute graphic paper. And then this is the scissors paper. And then last but not least is this. And it's just a blank section just to keep, you know how the back of the book usually gets messy. So I don't want that to happen. So temporarily, or maybe even full time, I might just leave my pen on this. I have a whole variety of different pen holders, so I like the fact that I can just take that off if I want to change to a pink elastic or whatever. So, and there's the back. So I think this is going to be super fun, and I cannot wait to start doing my layouts. You know, it's taken me a few weeks to get this all set up because my time is very, very limited. So, I've been just doing a little bit here and a little bit there. So, you know, I'm glad that I finally have it set up and then I can just go in and plan. So I hope that you guys enjoyed this short but sweet video. I hope this inspires you guys to get on the Happynichi bandwagon. And I hope you consider subscribing to my channel. And I hope you have a great day. Thank you so much for watching. Peace.